Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have breaking news here in Bachelor Nation. Hello, everybody. It's Dave Neal, stand-up comic and host of Bachelor Nation News. After last night's premiere episode of Charity's season of The Bachelorette, we have another Bachelorette, Becca Kufrin, once again stiffed by the franchise. She's been stiffed by the franchise since Ari stiffed her when he kind of Crisco'd that engagement ring off her finger and went with someone else. She has since found love. She's flourishing. She's just announced her third trimester of her pregnancy after going on Bachelor in Paradise. But what do we have here? I just made a video. I just literally made this video an hour and a half ago, which was that Katie Thurston had called out the producers and said, how sad to not even let the girls say bye or thank them for their time as previous hosts. Thomas had said we would have loved if Becca had the chance to say goodbye. So how it worked out is, because Becca is no longer with the show, they just cut ties with her and moved on with their life after 3+ years of Becca building Bachelor Happy Hour into what it is. Now, she wasn't an original cast member, but 3 years, I mean, the pandemic was a long time, right? And she was there dealing with all the Zoom issues and all the scheduling problems and the bad Wi-Fi and bad, other co-hosts. And throughout that whole process, what does she get out of it? Nothing. And not only that, the breaking news, as we have it right now, is that Grocery Store Joe from the defunct Clickbait podcast has been consolidated, and this is just corporate restructuring, a good old corporate restructure, and they've got rid of Clickbait, and now they've got Bachelor Happy Hour. So Becca Kufrin doesn't give Grocery Store Joe a rose on week 1. He was a week 1 reject, and now in some weird karmatic circle of life, he with his, I guess, wife, they are technically married. I say technically because they did a courthouse wedding while they planned the bigger wedding. Him and his wife, Serena, will be co-hosting. And don't they say, don't shit where you eat? Don't they say, don't get Mexican food too far from home? What's the whole saying? Either way, the point being is this, I mean, it's going to put a lot of stress on a relationship. Trust me, I used to co-host a show with my wife. Like, are you ready to go? It's Sunday at 7. You're trying to record an episode. The Zoom's not working. The basketball game's on. Who knows how it's going to turn out? But either way, you have to imagine laid off while pregnant, not a good look. And we don't know. Maybe she wasn't laid off. We're speculating. We don't know for sure. But after recording this video but 2 hours ago, the news is moving fast here. And again, I'm going to play a 5-second clip. This Wells describes why he had an issue renegotiating his contract. Maybe Becca Kufrin asked for more money and they said, no, we're going to go get the Canadian in the Chicago instead.
I didn't renegotiate my deal until maybe my 4th season of being the bartender.
Why?
Everyone fucking wants that job. And I know all the people who have tried to come and steal my job from Bachelor Nation.
All right, name them. So, of course, why wouldn't they? It's a good job. Everyone wants a job. This is late-stage capitalism where you can get replaced like that. Your job's not that important. The corporation can replace you, X's and O's and all that. Well, he says he didn't renegotiate till his 4th year. Becca, having completed 3 years on Bachelor Happy Hour, now finds herself without that job. Bachelor Nation tweeted, show some love to your new Bachelor Happy Hour hosts, Joe and Serena. No. All right, and again, it's really nothing against them, although will be interesting when we look at the stats. I think we have the stats in one of these Instagram stories here. Hold on, folks. So I'm going to share what all of the different podcasters and recappers are saying. But Bachelor Data shared this. Grocery Store Joe was the sort of center point of a podcast with a 3.2 star rating. Let me tell you something. Your podcast has to suck to have a rating below 4.5. I'm sorry. If you have a podcast rating below 4.5, it either sucks or you say some really controversial stuff, in which case it doesn't suck. You just have a lot of people that don't like you. Either way, he's taking over Bachelor Happy Hour, which has a 4-star rating. Obviously, Bachelor Happy Hour is a bigger podcast, which actually means, you would think the bigger... Anyway, the point is, he went from a show with 2.9 thousand ratings to 15,000. So Bachelor Happy Hour, definitely a bigger podcast. And we're going to get into the launch they just had. So this just came out on the old communist North Korean Bachelor Nation magazine. They never even list an author. It's for sure just, Chat GPT working for them. New chapter, Bachelor Happy Hour is back, and the show's new hosts are Bachelor Nation stars. I say that with parentheses, stars, question mark. And newlyweds, Joe and Serena. The two met and got engaged in season 7 of Bachelor in Paradise, and now they can't wait to give you an inside scoop on The Bachelor, Bachelorette, Bachelor in Paradise, and The Golden Bachelor that you won't hear anywhere else. Joe and Serena couldn't be more excited to go on the journey with Bachelor Nation fans via the podcast, which has a new home at iHeartMedia. The couple said, "We are so excited to be the new host of the Bachelor Happy Hour. We both love podcasting, and getting the opportunity to work together on a podcast about the show we fell in love on is incredibly special to us. The fans have been so supportive of our journey, and we hope they welcome us with open arms. We have big shoes to fill." Again, no mention so far of Becca and Michelle. We'll see if they get mentioned next. They continued, "It's going to be amazing to have another way to reconnect with fans. All right, no mention yet. Bachelor Happy Hour released on Tuesdays starting June 27th. So I guess that's today, right? It's today, June 27th. The podcast will be available, blah, blah, blah. Again, no mention whatsoever of the Becca Kufrin, who is pregnant. And it does beg a ton of questions about maternity leave in our country. Listen, nobody, and I mean nobody, is fighting for people's, what I believe should be God-given rights. Which means, look, save whatever propaganda you're about to spew out of me. Well, with capitalism, whatever. We're going to get into the maternity talk in a minute. But the fact that Becca Kufrin was probably a freelance employee, and again, maybe she has maternity leave. I don't know. I have no idea. My guess is she doesn't. That's my guess, is that they didn't give her maternity leave, that they just laid her off. But either way, the fact we don't have these protections in our great land of the free is really distressing, I guess. Becca Kufrin confirms exit from Bachelor Happy Hour podcast after months of no new episodes. And so there it is. There's the Bachelor Happy Hour Instagram page. I said, give Becca some respect. She was the best thing that Bachelor produced podcast had by a country mile. No disrespect to Joe and Serena, just wonder if Becca knew that she was being replaced. Now, clearly, they've done the photo shoot, they've been signed the contract, they've been ready to go. Someone said they did Michelle and Becca dirty, and you can't convince me otherwise. Yeah, I agree. So there it is. Claire and Emma podcast, our good friends Claire and Emma said, so they just laid Becca off while she's pregnant. Is that the vibe here? Pretty gross look. Also, Becca and Michelle were actually good at hosting a podcast. Well, I think when you're doing a Zoom interview, I think Becca and Michelle might not have been the best fit, but I think Becca was great. And again, as I've said, I think Michelle would be fine on a one-on-one, but I think Michelle takes the backseat to Becca personality-wise, and Becca ran that ship. So I said, that's what I'm saying. And Tia, did they get maternity leave? Again, I think we want to know these things. Michelle Young, though, congratulated them and said, go get them, you two. And of course, we already covered that. Game of Roses, big independent podcast, Game of Roses, they said Grocery and his leading lady, Serena, are the new hosts of Bachelor Happy Hour. The twists keep coming. And of course, the people are saying the ways in which I am underwhelmed are palpable, but they got the yes man they wanted, so congrats. And of course, we can't forget, if we go back to Becca's page here, that Becca was vocal with Michelle Young. Now, they didn't get axed right away, but they were vocal about how they didn't like that The Bachelor had promised them a certain storyline on the live after show and then didn't deliver. By that storyline, I mean, and I'm scrolling to see if we can get to it, the fact that they didn't address the blackface issue when Michelle was under the assumption they were going to address that. Now, because of that, there clearly wasn't much trust there. They basically say, you know what? We don't care enough to do this live on the show. We'll let the podcast handle it. She says, if you're going to listen to anything tonight, this week, this month, please listen to Michelle Young's voice. And again, this was, 9 months ago about? She says, I've been part of the franchise for a long time, and it's done so much for me since 2017, but I've also been part of the problem, so this is my small way of trying to move the needle. It ain't much, but it's where I am. And then she discussed the fact that she let Michelle share her voice, and here's probably the most Michelle ever spoke on the podcast.
I was so upset, and I was so angry that I felt like I had put myself in a situation where I felt completely silenced.
So Michelle says she felt silence. This was, again, 9 months ago, because she went to the live after show to have an uncomfortable conversation, to have growth and talk about things, and sunlight's the greatest disinfectant and all these things. Well, 9 short months later, Michelle and Becca, they're gone. They're out. Maybe they've tried to negotiate more money. Who knows right now? But we know it didn't end well, because last video, go back and watch it, we played what Becca said. Among 41 countries, only the great United States of America lacks paid parental leave. Is there anything else we need to say here, folks? U.S. ranks last in government-mandated paid leave for new parents. You have to understand something. Something like 80% of our country, regardless of Republicans or Democrats or independents, 80% of our country wants something very simple: sensible gun laws and paid maternity leave. We all have moms. We all come from somewhere, and tribally speaking, humans would help, like, your tribe. Say you had 20, 30, 40 people in a tribe. If Becca had a baby, she didn't have to go back to work. She could mother that child. She had people cook for her, come together as a community. Where the hell are we in society when this is what is okay to happen? Where are we when we're not up in arms when somebody who did a good job is replaced? And we don't exactly know the details. Maybe Bachelor producers might say, wow, she was getting paid $100,000. She asked for $200,000. Okay, we don't know the details, right? But we know she didn't get to have her send-off. She didn't get to say goodbye. She didn't get to tell her fans how much she appreciated them. It was over. They moved on. And that's what corporations will do, because they don't care about you, folks. They don't care about you. So we have all of the people that left Bachelor Happy Hour. Ali Fedotowsky, original, cast member. Rachel Lindsay, of course, had left. And Michelle Young, a new era for the podcast announced in March when Michelle Young joined as a permanent co-host. That didn't last long. It's just one after another. We don't have it updated yet with Becca Kufrin. But I have to tell you, it gets me riled up. It just gets me riled up. Let me know what you guys think. In other news, yesterday I announced that I got my new Tesla for driving with Dave, and then I got several of you it blew me away. So many people left me kind words. I can't believe how many people were excited for me. But here we have it. Here's a Tesla charge for you. We love you and driving with Dave. All you do for us Patreoners, and Tesla coffee on me. The donations, I appreciate. You do not need to do that. But for everyone who's donated and been a part of the community, thank you guys all so much for that. If you go here and haven't checked it out already, if you just go to Dave Neal Show, and I'll post a link below, you can go listen to all of the new episodes. There it is. It's my secondary channel, and you can go listen to all of the new episodes of Driving with Dave. Tammy's will drop this weekend, and here's my latest clip from Corinne. Have a listen.
Sex is my weapon. I will never not flirt with people. That's just me.
How did that play with the other ladies of the season?
Well, they just didn't like it.
Yeah.
They just didn't like it. They were mad when I was napping. They were mad when I was awake and stealing their mans. So, I was like, make a decision. I'm either going to nap or I'm going to steal your man.
Yeah, you can't steal a man while you're napping. That's they should be happy that you're taking some
Exactly. I was doing you a favor.
So what's your nap schedule like? All right, and there it is, folks. Look, we're going to run circles. We're going to run.
I will never not.
We are going to run circles around these government-run Bachelor podcasts. They stink. But either way, justice needs to prevail. I would love an update. I would love to know why Becca left and why she didn't get to do it on her terms. I think she earned that right. Let me know what you guys think. We'll have Patreon coming up right after this, patreon.com/Dave Neal. And this afternoon, we're hot today. We got the iced coffee flowing. Bachelor Rush Hour, the hit podcast every afternoon. We'll have that right after this. We'll talk to you in a bit.